Hi, my name's Ben, and I've been working on a board game for about the past 2.5 months now. It's called Baldrich's Tomb, and it's a roguelike board game for 2 to 4 players. I just picked up the finished version from the post office, and I'm really excited to show you what's inside. So, let's take a look.
Alright, so this is the game box. I got this game made at a website called The Game Crafter. Now, if you've never heard of The Game Crafter, they are a print-on-demand board game company. They provide a ton of templates for game cards and boards and other documents like that, as well as a gigantic store of game parts. And I was able to use their services to put a game together, and this is the result. It is Baldrich's Tomb. It's a dungeon-crawling board game for 2 to 4 players. They're going to start at the top of this tomb, work their way all the way down, and then climb back out, and along the way they're going to try and grab as much gold and loot and treasure as they possibly can, and the player at the end of the game with the most treasure points wins. So I'm going to remove the lid here, and let's take a look inside. This is the game board. I'll touch on that in a moment, but first I want to show you some of the other components in the game. As I said, you're going to be going for treasure. These 50 yellow tokens here, they each represent 1 treasure point. You're going to get them for completing various objectives in the game. And then there's also a deck of treasure cards. There are 24 treasure cards, and they're each numbered anywhere between 1 and 3. That's a bugle worth 2 treasure points. That's a vase worth 1 treasure point. That's a sword worth 3 treasure points. That's a sapphire? What is it? Emerald! Emerald worth 2 treasure points. And there's a bunch of other various treasures in there. And then there are also traps and monsters that are going to, well, make it harder for you to get a bunch of treasure. That's a bat. That's a warlock. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. That's a golem. And then there's a bunch of other monsters in there. And then there are these traps. That's a spider web that's going to subtract from your die rolls. That's a spring trap that's going to throw you up in the air and you're going to land somewhere randomly on the board. That's a tripwire. If you trigger one of these, you're going to drop treasure points. And it's another trap. And there are various other traps in the game. And then finally, there's also a deck of scroll cards. And these are sort of like one-time use magical spells. That's a scroll of immense brawn that's going to make you stronger against monsters. That's a scroll of vitality that's going to refill HP. And there's a bunch of other scrolls in there. And then finally, there are a few other random cards. These are the player cards. Each player is going to draw one of these randomly at the beginning of the game, and that's the character they're going to play as. There's Clifton, there's Gavril, there's Leofric, and then there's Eilith. And then there's a few other random cards that I'll explain later. And then there's a bunch of game components. So we got some dice here. We got some player pawns for all the different characters, and then a bunch of things that they're stones in the game. You're going to walk up to them, flip them over, and what lies beneath, you'll have different consequences for those. And then finally, there's a little ad for the Game Crafter in there and a 5-page rules document. So that's that. And now let's take a look at the board. Hold on, let me fold this out. So here it is. It's kind of big, so it's hard to get it completely in frame, but that's the bottom of it there. And this is the round indicator, and this over here on this other side, this is the level indicator. And up at the top there, these little spots for all the different game cards. So, alright, I'm going to cut this video off now, and I'm going to make another video that shows the game fully set up and ready to play, and I'm going to hopefully show you guys how to play it. Thanks for watching.